Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We are your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the 3rd of March, 2019. It's our European UK news. We do it every Sunday at 1 o'clock. I have something on my nose.
It belongs across your face. That's a Girl Scout song. You have something in your pocket that belongs across my face.
I keep it very close to me in a very convenient place. I bet you'll never guess it if you guessed a long, long while. So I'll bring it out and I'll put it on. It's a great big brownie smile. Girl Scout, whatever.
Brownie smile.
Oh my gosh, are you ready for today's show? You're not ready.
I'm not ready.
Obviously. That's a nice yellow bow.
Thanks. That's a nice blue sweater.
I think you bought this sweater. Actually, you were supposed to wear this. We have matching sweaters.
No. Here's the thing.
Pull it down. Pull your sweater down. Go like this.
Okay. There's a matching pink one in there. That one's yours.
Right.
The blue one is mine.
I've never.
And so when you wear it, you should coordinate because
I thought you would see it was gone and then wear it.
Liar.
I thought you'd see it on me and wear it. I really did think you might wear it. I thought you might see me in it.
I did look at the pink one and say, but I thought, oh, that's Michelle's. Oh, well, I'm not gonna wear that.
Well, it's all right.
I can go change.
Yummy and yellow. I was trying to think of something that rhymes with a Y.
Could you just not? That was kind of weird. Speaking of yellow, we could talk a little
yellow
bit
vests?
about. We could start with that.
Okay.
So Macron has done some major crackdowns, and I don't necessarily blame the French government because a lot of super crazy Antifa anarchists have gotten into the yellow vest movement, and they've had to kind of crack down on it, and that's what happens when you have leftists take over your movement.
It always turns violent.
However, the United Nations has criticized the use of flashball ammunition, dismissing. But Macron says that the UN criticism of the flashball is unnecessary.
Wait. Okay, so when you're talking about they're firing these flashballs into crowds to get them to disperse.
Them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the EU is questioning this?
The UN.
Oh, the UN, excuse me.
The UN. United Nations.
Well, that makes more sense.
So, pretty much what Macron has done is just take all the yellow vests, and this is, I believe...
If you wear a yellow vest, if you are on the side of the road, outside, standing in your car, wearing your yellow vest, they are going to come and flashball you. It is now not safe to wear the safety vest anywhere.
That's actually really funny. But no, my point is, I think that if there ever was a time for a conspiracy theory, this would be it.
Okay.
So the left or George Soros would say, hey, there's some sane people out there who are trying to protest in a peaceful manner.
Sure.
So let's make them look not peaceful. Let's smear their entire campaign.
Right.
And so let's fund some of these
I told you we were going to
groups.
stream on Periscope this week. I just totally forgot about looking into that. We'll do it next time.
That's okay. We're totally censored on Twitter. It's embarrassingly weird. I have 1,600 followers that I all got I got in 1 month and then stopped, by the way.
You're not allowed to say the word censorship on YouTube because they will hear it.
Well, whatever.
And then they really put a lid on you.
Okay, so
they want to let your people
they don't
find
let they don't let my people who follow me see my tweets.
Right.
Every once in a while,
I still tweet us out anyway. I'm doing that right now.
I know that it's not just me because if I tweet out something that has that's a BitChute, then the people who follow BitChute, and because BitChute follows me,
then they get to see it. Yeah.
So then I get lots of retweets and a few comments.
Great.
So
you should do more BitChute.
No, yeah. Actually, it's usually Mom who does that. Thanks to Mom. All right, so speaking Wednesday, President Macron dismissed the complaint, saying, as such, the best way to avoid these uses and these cases to avoid having people who consider that a Saturday afternoon is for smashing windows, institutions, and for attacking the police force. I say it very simply, I will not leave the police without any means to ensure public order or to defend against people who arrive today. That's what he said.
Okay.
Liar pants on fire. You're not a liar. I was just joking earlier. Police.
When did you call me a liar?
About the sweater. You said I see it was gone. That I would not look to see something's missing because I don't see things like that. I'm not like that.
That's that new closet I made for you.
It is, but I'm not that observant.
No, I know you're not.
Okay.
But I was hoping you would see me in it. That was more.
And
factual.
I'm not that observant either. So
Thanks.
when I pass you,
That's why if I have
something.
something on my face, like I have a booger hanging out or a hair hanging out of place or something like that, I can be on camera. I can be in public. Zipper is down. Leah is never going to help a girl out.
That's not true.
I help you out all the time.
I help you out. I have helped you out. I said I'm not that observant. I didn't say I'm like totally blind. Emergency physician Dr. Christopher Prudhomme commented on the level of violence from the police, saying this.
Okay.
I have been working in this sector since the 1980s, and this is the first time I've seen so many serious injuries during a social movement. So it seems like there's like this underlying anger.
Maybe since the French Revolution. Because it was pretty violent and it was a social movement.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. You're yawning? Oh my gosh. So hang on, before I forget.
Yeah.
Tracy's birthday was yesterday.
And their anniversary.
Yeah, not on the same day.
I don't know, but she posted, I saw something that's
Right, so Sean and Tracy had an anniversary. They went to that Fuentevedra place again.
So happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Birthday to
happy
Tracy.
Birthday to you. I want to sing it.
Happy birthday
to you.
Happy
birthday, dear Tracy. Happy birthday to you. Mwah. Okay, now you may carry on.
All right, so I'm going to carry on.
Carry on my wayward son.
There'll be Brexit when
we are done.
Yeah, there will be a Brexit. There will be a Brexit. The people, don't lose hope. Don't lose faith. I want you to know there will be a Brexit. It's just not happening. It doesn't look like it's happening right now.
Did you see this article that Barry sent us? The title is Brexit Live. Brexiteers promise to backdeal if May agrees to 3 demands. Mm-hmm. So I was reading this article before we went live today. And, you know, the theme that I keep hearing from people like a Reese Mogg and other people that you kind of want to trust. I can't believe you keep yawning like that. You should have had a piece of Robert Bones cake. It would have, you know, like I did. I was literally sitting here with this piece of Mardi Gras cake and a glass of milk before we went live. I said, we could just go live right now. And Leah's like, no, we'll wait till you're finished. But anyway, the theme that I'm hearing is that they would rather, this is like a Reese Mogg deal. They would rather sign this horrible deal and swallow the Irish backstop than to have a postponing of the March 29th date. I say, why does it have to be one or the other? There is the no deal Brexit option. And the fact that Reese Mogg isn't backing that, maybe he thinks it's just a complete impossibility. They're just so scared. They're saying that if there is a postponement of that March 29th date, then that is the equivalent of a Brexit betrayal. But if they make a few tweaks to this deal, even though it's a horrible deal, then they've still gotten Brexit. And they're saying that it's better to get that than to have a Brexit betrayal. I say this deal is a Brexit betrayal.
And actually, you're not the only one. Dellingpool, there will never be a Brexit while Theresa May is Prime Minister. And he's not the only one saying this. Okay. Now, Dan Hannan is an MP in the EU. And he
a great orator, by the way.
Has been pretty much in the middle, from what I understand, a Brexit moderate. Let me tell you what he has to say about this.
Andrew Austin said his birthday was yesterday too. Happy birthday, Andrew.
Happy birthday, Andrew. Dan Hannan argues that Brexit voters are being sold a pup. Now tell me, please, what being sold a pup means, because I like dogs.
Now hang on. You have to probably say it with an accent. They're being sold a pup.
And are being treated like idiots by the Remain establishment. Here he goes. We keep being told that unreasonable Eurosceptics are their own worst enemies, and that if Brexit is now thwarted, it will somehow be their fault. But it is hard to think of a more unreasonable proposition than that all that matters is coming back with something that it can technically be termed Brexit. Even after 30 months, leavers are still being subtly patronized. It is assumed that the dim-witted oafs cannot possibly have weighed the costs and benefits before voting, and that all that the government needs to do is show them something that has Brexit written on it with bright, shiny letters. In fact, Leave voters understand that some forms of Brexit are better than others. They understand, too, that some are so bad that it would be worse than either staying or leaving. The EU, of course, has understood this from the start. As Michael Barnier put it in 2016, I'll have done my job if in the end the exit terms are so bad that the British would rather stay in the EU. Such an attitude on the part of Brussels has to be expected. The readiness of our negotiations to go along with it is not. So this basically what Delingpole says here is that Dan Hannan is being a better Brexiteer right now than Rees-Mogg. He says, from Hannan, this is quite something. He has long been a voice of moderation in the Brexit debate. Pro-Brexit, obviously, but not nearly so gung-ho as some of us. Now, here he is out-Brexiting even Jacob Rees-Mogg, who is in danger of looking a bit like a squish. Tell me again what a pup is and what a squish is.
Wait. Britt says being sold a pup means it's lies. But now we need to know what it is looking like a bit like
Rees-Mogg is in danger of looking like
a bit of a squish.
And the Democratic Unionist Party. And when a dodgibly reasonable diplomat like Hannan starts talking in this way, we should sit up and pay attention. Theresa May's deal is so awful, he says, that no self-respecting country would accept it. Therefore, Brexit MPs must screw their courage to the sticking place and vote it down. If this means delaying Brexit, so be it.
Screw your courage to this sticking place.
Yes. Now, they do have a little bit better ways to speak.
Descriptions.
Screw your courage to the sticking place and don't let it go anywhere. Just screw it there. Stick it. Screw your courage to the sticking place. Wherever that sticking place is, screw it to it. And throw away the drill.
Hilton says, sold a pup from a puppy farm, very sick, weak, and feeble. Maybe, okay. All right, well. Either way, you don't want to be sold a pup.
Now, we're still learning what a squish is.
I love puppies, though.
All right, he goes on to say, Hannan goes on to say, a postponement, undesirable as it is less damaging than accepting permanently disadvantageous terms. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Easy for me to say. As Lord King, the former Bank of England governor, put it, there are arguments for remaining in the EU and arguments for leaving, but there is no case whatever for giving up the benefits of remaining without obtaining the benefits of leaving.
Very good. Well said, chap. Here.
I believe that's probably like a thing. Like there has to be, like Theresa May and her cohorts are like, we have to, it's going to be bad for us. There's going to be no benefits to leaving.
Right.
It's just going to be bad. It's just going to be bad. This is the will of the people, and it's all going to be bad.
I think that's the point. If they can get... And Rees-Mogg, come on, guy. Watch my video here. He has the best accent, by the way. It's very posh.
Oh, yes.
Listen, old chap. Okay? Their goal is to get you to leave and let it be miserable, and after a couple of years, maybe even only one, the people will be begging to come back into the European Union, which is why they want the deal to be so awful. I wanted something better than awful. Awful. So blastedly
So Theresa
miserable.
May is hanging on to power like a leech. But Hannan says Theresa May has to go. And that a delayed Brexit, if they delay Brexit, would be better because it would mean that Theresa May would be gone.
Right.
Now, but here's the thing. The EU and Merkel and Macron are like, you have to bring something else to the table. You have to show us something else, like another piece of your...
We bought a new battery for Leah's laptop. And
it does this thing.
It does this thing where all of a sudden it just decides I don't want to be a battery right now and I want to sleep for a second. So then her entire laptop crashes. So while you bring that back up...
It did come back.
Okay. So Stefan says it means you are getting something you want, but getting something very different instead. Stuart the Brit says it will take an act of parliament to stop us leaving. It's the law to leave. This will not happen. All right. Brit Boston says Stuart the Brit is correct. Yeah, I mean, you guys, the UK ain't the UK anymore, or at least it seems that way, says Redneck Survivalist. Now, obviously, he's American, but I kind of feel the same way. It's not what it was. And it's drifting further and farther away. We just called it England, by the way, to get back to that. We haven't talked about that in a while. It was always just England. Calling it the UK is very foreign.
There was always England, Scotland, and Ireland, and Wales. There just was always.
In the meantime, Andrew Austin says, we are paying the EU $12 billion a year.
Yeah. So, I wanted to bring this out because I know a lot of people were pro Brexit and we're actually, obviously pro Brexit, and we want you guys to do well. But I want to bring up the Nigel clip where he talks about we have to fight. 2016 was great, but they're not letting go. They're not acknowledging the will of the people with Trump or with Brexit.
Yeah. So are we going to play a little bit of that recap of Nigel?
Probably. Yeah.
From CPAC? Because that was really good.
This is author Lionel Shriver ridicules Remain campaigners' idea of a second referendum. You may put May's deal against Remain. Well, May's deal is Remain, so you can have Remain light or Remain heavy. That's about it. Just wanted to play this for you.
Is that the American lady?
I don't know who she is, honestly. You guys know who she is?
Oh, my thing did it again. See, what happens, and I was going to tell you, it's much easier if we make sure this is on before you press play on a video, because then it'll just already be connected.
Let's make sure we're connected. It says connected.
No, it's not. It can't be. Because it didn't go.
It says connected. There it is.
That. Okay.
You either put May's deal against Remain. Well, May's deal is Remain.
No,
okay?
No.
And how do you figure that out? Oh, you can have Remain or Remain. You can have Remain light or you can have Remain heavy. That's about it.
There was way more to that.
That's all I have.
Oh, okay.
Do you have more?
No, I don't have more. But when we watched it the other day, there was a little bit more to it. John Scotty Ward says those mock English accents are quite amusing. Try to mimic the Geordie Newcastle accent. That should be interesting. We have tried several of the more difficult ones, including Yorkshire. It's embarrassing. We have the BBC accents, and they come in two. It's a little bit like this, sir. It's a little bit more cut and cut, and that's what we get from the BBC. Or you get the Polish accent, and that there is nothing, absolutely nothing in between there that we can do. So that's all you get.
All right, so I wanted to play this clip from somebody who in the audience here who has some really some common sense.
I actually think all three parties have betrayed every single one of us.
How do you think that?
Well, you've had Theresa May 52 times said we will leave on the 29th of March. She's now extended. Corbyn said no.
She may.
Well, probably will. And then Corbyn said, oh, no, we won't have a second referendum. Now he's going to entertain that. Liberals declared said there won't be any European army. You've betrayed every single one of us. You've lied all the way down. And I totally agree. I think it's the start of basically the end of the beginning, because we're not going to leave. I don't think we are going to leave.
And that's kind of the way that it is politics all around. And that's because we've reached this era where the highest bidder wins, the one in the most power wins, and that is the globalist agenda. Everybody, have you guys seen the picture of like Congress where there's all these NASCAR type, Pfizer, they should all be wearing these badges of who has bought them off. You could put the BBC on there. I mean, and that's what it boils down to.
So Kate Hui,
what kind of last name is that?
She's a huge voice for Brexit, by the way. She's a member of Parliament for Vauxhall, UK.
I don't give a
Leave means leave. And she says, could the BBC News stop calling MPs elected on a manifesto to honor the result of the referendum hardliners? So, like, if they're proponing Brexit, and they were elected to get Brexit done, like the UKIP people, could you stop calling us hardliners? Like, that, seriously, that's, the Remainers are the hardliners.
Exactly. It's kind of like our electoral college, okay? They have to vote. They, quote unquote, have to vote for the president that the people vote for. I mean, you can't just say, oh, you're a hardliner if you do that.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
If Parliament cannot accept this deal, we have to have the confidence and courage to walk away first and talk after. This is from George Eustace, who resigned from the government this week over Brexit.
Parliament cannot accept this deal. We have to have the confidence and the courage as a country to walk away first and talk after. And the other thing about no deal is it doesn't mean no deal forevermore. It's a bit of a misnomer. No deal probably in effect means an informal transition period for 9 months. And we already know from all of our dealings with the European Union that pretty much across the piece, they are looking for informal arrangements where there'll be very little change for a period of 9 months. And that gives you a window in which talks could continue.
Absolutely. And that's the
simple.
thing. All right, we're gone. Everything is, and now let's work it out from there.
Right,
okay.
exactly.
You know what? I mean, it's kind of like at that point when, all right, you know what our mom did? Our mom did a no deal divorce. She literally walked out the door, took Leah and I with her, left everything that she had really put into, you know what, I got to save myself and I got to save my children, and we are getting out of this abusive situation, and we will let the chips fall where they may, and we'll work the rest out later. Leave means leave, okay? Where they can't abuse you anymore. They can't tell you what to do anymore. And that's exactly what this boils down to. Centaur New UK, we haven't seen you in a long time. I wanted to say, hey, I saw you pop up in the chat there. Let's see. There was another, okay, Britt Baza said Kate Hui is a good Labor MP. So kind of like how we would talk about Tulsi Gabbard or something like that from Hawaii, like, you know, somebody you can trust to be at least true to
Nigel
themselves.
says this is a surrender document.
So I think what we're seeing here is really quite a significant shift in the position of some, not all, of the Eurosceptic members of Parliament. I have to say, the argument that you know, as long as we get rid of the backstop, the rest of the deal's fine, I think's nonsense. What are we paying 39 billion for?
Exactly.
But we don't even know we're going to get anything back in return in terms of trade. What are we doing to take back our fishing waters? Well, from what I can see, precisely nothing. At what point will we get back control of our borders? Well, I simply don't know. And it seems to me that we are leaving ourselves completely at the mercy of the European Union for however long this transition period lasts. I think even if there was a legal change to the backstop, I think this withdrawal agreement actually reads a bit more like a surrender document signed by a leader whose nation has just been defeated in war, and they've literally got a gun to their head. So I do not think personally that Eurosceptics should get behind this deal. I much prefer the idea, with just a few weeks to go, that we leave on WTO terms, and even if there are a few bumps in the road short term, we are out, and probably then actually in a very good position to negotiate a genuine free trade agreement.
If you want to see, Theresa May and the Remainers don't want to be in a good position to negotiate a free trade agreement.
Right.
The EU, members of the EU, they need Britain. Okay? The way this is playing out is that Britain needs the EU desperately.
Right.
Desperately needs, you know, French cheese. Desperately needs the EU to tell them how to do everything.
No, all of those people.
Oh my gosh. It's literally like you're saying. If a woman who is battered and bruised is like, you know, saying, well, maybe I should just stay.
Right.
Because even though I want to be free and independent, it's probably just better. And he's being real mean about it. And he's saying that, like, he won't let me have, you know, half the house.
Things that I came into the marriage with or whatever.
And he's telling me I'm going to have to pay him alimony.
Right.
And, you know, do all these things. And it's like, seriously, this is like, you guys have the upper hand. You're not an abused woman. You're seriously one of the strongest.
You're Great Britain, for crying out loud.
You're the strongest. Sorry, I'm spitting. You're the strongest country in the European Union.
Yeah. That's why they don't want you to leave. And I want to reiterate this one more time for maybe the people that just showed up, or maybe it didn't sink in the first time that I said it. You need to understand, with the way that the mainstream media worldwide is playing this thing out, you and I take for granted that we know what's going on. What's going to happen with this deal, okay? They are going to play it out. Look, they're going to play it to the rest of the world and to you guys in the UK. Look, Theresa May, your prime minister, put this deal together, so when you guys, and then 2 years down the road, when it's in shambles and nothing is working out and everybody is miserable, they're going to come back and say, see, I told you shouldn't have left the EU. See, I told you this was a bad idea. And then you have to come crawling back. That is the single most reason why they are making this deal out to be so awful, because they want you to accept this deal, then they want it to turn out miserable, then they want to blame it back on you. That's what's happening.
Eustace here again says the EU can smell fear. They see in the body language of our negotiators a sense that we will only ever do what the EU grants us. They do not see steely resolve. They look biddable. The craven actions of those in Parliament are mainly to blame. He says, as the world's 5th largest economy with world-leading expertise in science, finance, and industry, we have an incredibly strong hand of cards if only we would recognize it and learn how to play it.
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing.
5th largest economy in the world, and you're crying.
But it's not that. Even that line, even though it's true, is not putting out the whole truth that these negotiators aren't for Brexit. They don't want Brexit to happen. They don't want to leave the EU. Okay, so there is the people that are pretending like they're in fear aren't even in fear. They're just trying to figure out how to play this game so that it turns out the worst possible. Worth a Look says Kate Huey spoke at the grassroots the event that he went to in January 2016 with Nigel, and she was very good.
So this is Andrea Jenkins, who is a pro-Brexit MP, and she has been walking around hearing from some constituents.
I'm here campaigning today in my constituency in West Ardsley, and what we're finding on the doorstep is incredibly sad to hear, but I completely agree actually. We're hearing so much frustration. I've had no end of constituents who are very frustrated at the moment. They just want us to get on with Brexit. The amount of people who's telling me Theresa May's deal is a bad deal. Let's just get out, leave on WTO, and let's show some strength and some steel to stand up for what people voted for. There's a lot of apathy. People are not wanting to vote for Corbyn, which is obviously music to my ears, but still our own Conservative voters, they're incredibly frustrated. It's a sad state of affairs to be in for our country, and I think our country deserves better. So I urge all Brexiteers, let's keep fighting, let's keep pushing, we will get Brexit in the end.
Wow. So, you know what? And you don't hear that very often. I mean, how often do you even hear about our representatives going door to door just asking questions? How do you feel about this? I'm your representative. How do you feel? What do you want me to do?
Right.
That's amazing. Centaur says, I kind of hope Article 50 gets extended in a way to the European MEP elections in May. The Tories and Labour would be wiped out, and Nigel's new Brexit party and UKIP would win by a landslide.
All right, so let's move on a little bit here to Calais. Dozens of migrants recently stormed a ferry in a coordinated attack on the UK border.
Wow.
Go figure. Dozens of migrants stormed a ferry in Calais, France in a bid to break into Britain on Saturday night, last night, in what police call a coordinated attack on the French docks.
Wow.
Between about 9:15 and 9:30, about 50 migrants managed to board a Calais Seaways ferry, which had just sailed in from Dover, England, with 211 passengers and 75 crew members. State representative for the Nord-Pas-de-Calais department, Jean-Philippe Venin, said that high tide enabled the horde of migrants, whose nationalities are reportedly not yet known, to board the Seaways vessel using a maintenance ladder. 2 of the migrants fell into the water and were quickly fished out by firefighters. The removal of vehicles, cars, and trucks from the ferry while the police organized the removal of the vehicles. 17 migrants were arrested and detained following the incident, according to the regional La Voix du Nord, which initially reported that 1 crew member was injured during an altercation with migrants, but later updated the story and said there were no injuries. An operation involving ferry staff, police, and perilous reconnaissance and response group rescue officers to remove a group of around 20 migrants who had lodged themselves in the ship's chimney was completed around 10:45 when they were eventually persuaded to leave one by one.
Unbelievable.
The official for the SGPFO police union told the newspaper this was a coordinated attack designed to take place at a time when police would be unable to deal with the situation due to lack of staff. The attack occurred simultaneously as the state orders relating to the Yellow Vest protest meant we were unable to call for any reinforcement from the riot and public order police force. Adding the number of attempts to storm the docks has been rising in recent months. So I'm wondering if this was a coordinated attack of some, people who were open borders or like,
hey, all the police are going to be over there.
Yeah, so
unbelievable.
Supposedly Calais is dealing with this situation. So activist groups have said that It was distressing that immigrants in Cali continued to be fed, cared for, and given access to showers while squatting in the region after a previous block on such activities resulted in a significant drop in the number of illegal aliens basing themselves in coastal areas. So there we have that.
Jeez.
In Spain, over 4,000 illegal migrants landed by sea in January and 930 in February. Spain's
That's kind
government...
of a big drop, though, right? From 4,000 to 900.
Yeah, but in just 2 months.
But
so
still, that's a lot.
5,000
That's
in 2
people.
months, pretty much. Spain's government says that unauthorized immigration by sea has dropped in the last month, falling to 930 people arriving in February compared to 4,000 in January. Interior Minister Fernando Grande Marlaska says that while on a visit on Saturday to Spain's northern Africa enclave in Melilla, that the upward trend of recent months has been broken, supposedly. Spain has become the leading entry point into Europe for illegal migrants. Last year, when it received over 57,000 people by sea compared to 21,000 in 2017.
Wow.
So 57,000 last year alone, 21,000 compared to 21,000 in 2017.
The year before.
Opposition parties have criticized the socialist-led government for being soft on illegal migration after taking a more welcoming position on migrants. So it's just absolutely insane. I don't even know where to begin.
Although, I mean, it seems like the article was trying to say that there's been a drop, so that's kind of good news.
For 5,000 pretty much in 2 months.
But yeah, that's
like,
still...
Where are these people headed? Where are they going?
Right.
In Germany, North African migrants are more prone to criminality.
Duh.
But they're at least saying it. The president of the German Federal Criminal Police Office has admitted that North African migrants are more prone to be criminals and has called for police to focus their attention on to prevent them from forming organized mafias. That goes along with another article. Now, obviously, it's a tricky thing to talk about race versus culture.
And then religion on top of it?
Yeah, because you're called a racist if you say people who are African or of African descent or who are black commit more crimes. However, there is an article out today that said that you need to, Sadiq Khan and the BBC need to start calling out black-on-black knife crime.
Wow.
In London.
Wow.
That they say that
like Trump was doing in Chicago.
It shouldn't matter what the race is, but if you don't look at a common denominator, then you can't stop it.
Right. And that's ridiculous. I mean, come on. You guys invented okay, the UK did anyway. Sherlock Holmes, right? What does Sherlock Holmes do? He looks at every aspect. Okay, what is the common denominator? Where do these things intersect? Where do they meet up? And then you go from there to solve the case.
Right.
If you literally say it's racist or whatever label you want to put on it to include certain things, like what would happen if all of a sudden the crimes were blondes were all of a sudden stabbing each other and it was always blondes?
You'd want to look into
why. You would want to look into why. I mean, was there a box that was being sold that had some sort of like chemical in it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it doesn't matter. It's not judgmental.
Right.
Except for you're using judgment. There's a difference.
Right.
Carry on.
So the BKA president, Holger Mucht, said the police needed to tackle issues of North African migrant crime before criminal structures can emerge, as have been the case with Arab clan mafia groups. Earlier this week, Mucht, how do you say that?
Weird.
I'm not sure. Noted at the European Police Congress in Berlin that organized criminal clans could only be stopped with enormous effort on the part of the police. Problems that I do not want to see. Problems that have arisen in 25 to 30 years, which we will not solve in 25 to 30 days, he added, that several regions of the country had particular problems with organized criminal groups.
Did you see the Breitbart tweet there? It says that the fact-checking backfires.
Proves rise in murders, violent crimes committed by migrants in Germany. And that was back in September.
Oh
BKA reports from 2017 revealed that migrants were responsible for at least 9% of serious crimes. Their overrepresentation in violent crimes and sexual offenses was even starker with the number rising to over 10% from migrants from Libya, Tanzania, Morocco, and Algeria being particularly prevalent among the suspects. Organized migrant gangs, such as notorious Arab clans operating in cities like Berlin, have been a major problem for police. In 2017, it was claimed that the Arab clans were even recruiting newly arrived asylum seekers to aid their criminal enterprises.
Oh my gosh.
The young refugees have no one here to stop them. They see peers who are driving an Audi and hear how easy it is to get there, and they want it too. You can't blame them. Arab clans in Berlin have also been accused of using threats and spreading sexual allegations against police in order to either intimidate or take revenge on officers trying to bring justice.
Where the Look said lots of stabbings are happening now. There was a girl killed last night in England being stabbed.
Wow. This was interesting to me just because I just kind of wanted like facepalm. A dude went to fight for ISIS.
Okay.
Came back to Sweden, went from Sweden to ISIS, came back to Sweden. They treated his injury that he got while fighting for ISIS, and he went back to fight for ISIS. And the Swedes were like, "Oh, we treat the criminals in the jails." Well, you know what? Why don't you keep them in jail? If he fought for ISIS, why didn't you put him in jail? Like, there's got to be some. I mean, serious. The socialists are just woo. Wow. But here's what I was talking about. This is Trevor Phillips has accused the BBC of whitewashing crime stories by not addressing the high number of black-on-black stabbings.
Thank you.
And warned politicians and police to stop ignoring the links between race and gang violence. Mr. Phillips, a former head of the United Kingdom's Equality and Human Rights Commission, made the comments in an opinion piece in The Telegraph on Friday, following a string of stabbings in London and Birmingham, referencing a report released on Thursday which revealed that some 27,000 under 19s in England identify themselves as being part of a gang. Mr. Phillips noted that in terms of youth gang violence, black boys are more than 20 times as likely to be involved in serious attacks compared with their white peers. Yet to read our newspapers and listen to our media, you would imagine that race played no part in this issue at all. He said, the BBC is guilty of whitewashing the truth. Its defense is that race should only be reported where it's relevant.
It's always relevant.
It has no qualms about routinely describing stop and search by police in racial terms. The daily parade of dark faces and items about knife crime tell its own story, he remarked, and the routine appearance of such individuals as Olu from BREXIT in radio interviews would provoke howls of racist dog whistling around Broadcasting House, were the BBC's own journalists not so deeply complicit in the silence, admonishing police, the media, and politicians for wasting time and resources by arguing over police numbers and tough tactics. Mr. Phillips said, "We need to focus honestly on who is dying and who is doing the killing if we are to stop the carnage."
So, Bert Bozza says, Michelle, 18 deaths due to stabbings in London since this year began. So here's the thing, guys. I, as a farmer, okay, you may not know this, but we raise pigs for meat. We raise chickens for meat, and we have to kill them to eat them. All right. And then when I hit that deer, I had to kill the deer. If you're going to take, I don't even think I put my knife on today yet. If you're going to take a knife and kill another being, I mean, this is a very big deal.
Listen to this. 9 males, mostly from stabbing, died this week, with 3 under 19 being stabbed to death.
To stab somebody
in the last 2 weeks,
different than to shoot them.
Yeah.
And to have those kinds of numbers, like I can imagine one, right? Like to hear of death by stabbing. Do you know how many times you have to stab something, anything, to kill it? Yeah. Okay. I mean, seriously, this is absolute
and it can't
insanity.
Be racist to say let's stop the killing of black people.
Exactly.
Can we, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
It's so
there are
beyond,
too many black people dying in our city. We need to address that.
It's so beyond the leftist narrative, and I'm going to call it leftist because they're the identity politics.
Sure.
For us to say, you know what? We're going to be CSU here. Okay, we're going to be just totally all politics aside.
Yeah.
All feelings aside. What is happening? My heart is for people who are being victims of crime.
Right.
People who are dying. People who are being killed.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what can we do to stop it? What can we do to address it? There are victims here and there are perpetrators here. And the punishment obviously is not very strong to deter these young men.
Right.
From, they have no fear.
Yeah.
They have no fear. Why don't they have fear? Why don't they have fear that if they go and stab somebody, that something horrible is going to happen to them? That they'll be put in jail for the rest of their lives. They'll be caught like that.
Well, because at this point they're above the law because of being politically correct.
Yeah, no kidding.
They are protected. They're a protected. Right. It's like Gotham City, where the criminals are protected, and the good people are victims.
So normally associated with London, the issue of youth. Sorry, I'm getting out of the chair so unladylike.
Because
the issue of youth knife violence in the Midlands city hit the headlines after the fatal stabbing of 3 minority ethnic males. I'm not going to read their names, but 18, 16, and 16. The string of youth murders resulted in West Midlands Police Chief Constable Dave Thompson declaring knife crime an emergency with, get this, 269 knife crimes recorded in Birmingham. Get this, guys.
So far this year.
Yeah, 97 of which were stabbing. So I'm not sure what the other knife crimes were besides that. But here's the thing.
Well, maybe it can be a crime if you just pull a knife on somebody.
That's true.
It can be a crime just to have a knife.
97 stabbing. So I want you guys to get this, like, really heavily, because Piers Morgan and everybody says, you know, they're against gun rights.
Right.
The problem, you don't solve the problem by taking away the guns. Because they'll find other ways.
Absolutely.
Now, he's right in that if these young men had guns, you would literally not have a country anymore.
They would, yeah, because you can do more damage with guns, obviously.
You would have so many people dead. You'd have so many terror attacks.
Right.
You would. But why are these people who would come in to use a gun in such a way allowed in?
Yeah. Here's the thing. They are more concerned about keeping guns out than they are keeping the people that would use them out.
They make it really hard for just average people to own a weapon. And you know, it's... okay. Birmingham, Britain's second largest city, saw its bloodiest year in a decade.
Wow.
In 2018, with the city's murder rate per capita between April and September being higher than that for the same period in London.
Wow.
All right, so...
hang on. So Centaur says, I went to work in Wolverhampton a few months ago. There were 4 black youths arguing in the street. One of them pulled out a machete. Wow.
Oh, my word.
That's not legal.
This is very interesting because Britain has just recently, this week, banned Hezbollah, which is technically a political group in Lebanon. The leftists are so eager to say they're political. They're political. They are a terrorist arm. They are a Muslim supremacist arm of a political group.
Well, that's how we've always heard of them as such.
Now, but here's very interesting because this is a British terror ban.
That can't be a real title.
The British terror ban hurts the feelings in Lebanon.
No way.
Lebanon's Hezbollah terrorist movement on Friday condemned Britain's decision to outlaw its political wing, describing the move as an insult to the Lebanese people that hurt the feelings of many of its local followers. The heavily armed Shiite group, which is backed by Iran, said it was a resistance movement against Israeli occupation with no designs on violence. It described the British move as an insult to the feelings and sympathies and the will of the Lebanese people that consider Hezbollah a major political and popular force. Hezbollah sees in this decision servile obedience to the U.S. administration, revealing that the British government is but a mere follower in service of its American master.
Why are we even listening to what Hezbollah has to say?
Said on Monday it planned to ban all wings of Hezbollah due to its destabilizing influence in the Middle East, classifying it as a terrorist organization.
Good.
Hezbollah is already deemed a terrorist organization by Washington. The Home Secretary Sajid Javid said, "My priority as Home Secretary is to protect the British people. As part of this, we identify and ban any terrorist organization which threatens our safety and security, wherever their motivations or ideology, which is why I am taking action against several organizations today. Hezbollah is continuing in its attempts to destabilize the fragile situation in the Middle East, and we are no longer able to distinguish between their already banned military wing and their political party. Because of this, I have taken the decision to proscribe the group in its entirety." Hezbollah is an illegal anti-Semitic group designated as a terror organization in its entirety by the Arab League, Bahrain, Canada, France, Israel, Australia, the Netherlands, and the United States. So, there we have it.
Gosh. It's so crazy. All right, hang on. I think Britt said something here. Oh, Michelle and Leah, it is perfectly legal to buy 50 caliber guns in the UK. So it's very interesting if it is, and it is, and we know this because we've talked to you about this at length, but since it is legal to buy the smaller caliber guns, like, I don't know what 50 caliber is. I'm thinking 45.
Is 50 caliber?
Yeah, what is the equivalent of that? Like, I'm thinking, you know what I mean? Usually it goes like...
Well, the 9mm are like this big. A 22 is like this
45
big.
Is like big.
A 45, so I don't know what a 50
I have
caliber
no
is.
idea. But I do know that you can buy like how you can have guns for hunting. So why people aren't using those kinds of guns to commit crimes? Maybe it's because it's hard to carry like a rifle down the
Iran
the
also
road.
Condemned Britain's decision to outlaw the political wing of Lebanon's Hezbollah movement on Saturday, describing it as wrong and irresponsible, Iran said. So I just thought I would put that out there. Iran.
I love that it hurt their feelings.
Yeah, Iran.
I'm glad it hurt their feelings. It should.
Boris Johnson says many anti-Brexit chicken lickens. I'm not kidding. In upper reaches of government. Britain's Brexit champion Boris Johnson on Saturday hit out at mounting calls for a second referendum on European Union membership, predicting it would arouse widespread anger. The former foreign minister turned tormentor for the Britain's Prime Minister Theresa May also mocked the bastards who run the EU as he attacked the bloc. It's not exactly a nice word, but I went ahead and
said it. I was
not
like,
exactly a curse
you said it in a
word.
British accent, so I was confused. I thought maybe you were saying ambassador. That's what I heard. And I was like, did she
I saw for a moment.
I
It's
saw
not
she had a trick up
exactly-
of it.
It's not exactly a bad word. I just didn't want. I
got a story there. This is our show, so I can let's because every once in a while, you know what I think I want to do for your birthday or sometime around there, not for you, but sometime I want to do just a like straight up ask Leah and Michelle anything question, like question and answer, okay? Because I think that would be really fun. Opinion on politics, history, whatever. When I was a kid, my mom was so upfront with us because we had to go to public school on and off. And so you learn things at public school. And I was very open in asking my mom questions. And I think I'd heard that word. And I'd asked her what it meant, okay? And she explained to me literally what it meant, a fatherless child, okay? And so in my mind, that's not like, whatever. I've heard it used as a mean thing, but I didn't think she didn't explain to me that's a curse word or that's not a word that we should use. So I remember being at our grandparents' house and our cousins from Chicago were in, and our not really stepbrothers. So there was a bunch of us is my point. And I was the youngest out of all of us. And we're all running around. It was probably around Christmas time or something upstairs. And I'm being chased and we're laughing and I turn around and I scream and I got caught or something like that. And I yelled, whatever. The whole thing, you don't remember this, do you? The whole room stops in silence. And so my older cousins, and my brother and stuff like that, I don't know where you were, if you heard it. And they were like, what did you just say? And so then I say it again and they're like, Michelle, you can't say that. So to the pure, all things are pure is my point. I'm going to give it to you because I've already done it. So there you go. There's a little childhood story for you.
Question at a conference in New Delhi about pressure for a repeat of the 2016 referendum in Britain. Johnson said, I don't think that's possible. I think that the anger in the population would be so intense and the tedium, people would be driven absolutely round the bend by the idea of having to vote on this thing again. It was very acrimonious, a very divisive campaign in 2016. He said, predicting any second vote would produce the same result. And then he went on to say, we need to get this Brexit done properly, and our Prime Minister now needs to punch a hole through the backstop, and it has got to be a hole that is big enough to fit the entire United Kingdom. He's so funny. Once she does that, we are free. We are at the races. I am hoping.
And then say that again. Say that again.
Once we do that, we are free. We're at the races. I'm hoping she'll do it.
Why don't we ever speak properly here in the United States?
Johnson also told the Indian audience that Brexit was misunderstood by those who say it was xenophobic, nationalistic, or reactionary. He said, my objection to the EU was not that it was run by foreigners. The problem is that we don't really know who is running it. mocking the first 5 presidents of the EU Commission, council members in the European Parliament, and other bodies. See, I couldn't tell you who they are, or what they do, or how they came to the jobs, or how they may be removed from office. I have no idea how to kick those particular out. I'm not saying they are, but millions and millions of people in the UK have no idea how the system works. It's completely cut off to them. Johnson said that those who predict disaster for Britain outside the bloc are chicken lickens. I think he means Chicken Littles, but because Chicken Little was like the sky is falling, the sky is falling, but Chicken Lickens. But said there were still many in the upper reaches of the UK government. They are like people who said that Columbus would sail off the edge of the world. I'm pretty sure he means Chicken Little. There's a very big struggle going over what Brexit really means. The Treasury and the whole system, they're really too nervous of taking the leap.
Marston said, Leah, you are crazy. I love it.
Without control of tariffs and regulations, sincerely, you might as well be in the EU unless you have the freedom to then stay in. I don't think the UK is going to stay in, or that the UK should stay in, he said. So, like, unless you have freedom, unless you have some good qualities of being out the EU, just stay in.
Exactly.
But obviously, the big bad. And
hang on, wait. Chicken licking means a coward, says Stuart the Brit.
Thank you. Well, we have a term here. Chicken Little says the sky is falling.
Exactly.
Chicken lickens.
Chicken licking.
Chicken lickens.
But see, why does that? There's got to be some sort of story there where you got to like
a couple of kids.
A couple of kids.
You lick the chicken. No, you lick the chicken.
Yeah, nobody should lick chicken unless it's like ready to be eaten.
You lick that chicken.
We raise chickens. I would not ever well, that's not true because sometimes I hold them and then I kiss them.
You do, but I wouldn't lick it.
But I wouldn't lick it. Oh, jeez.
All right. Speaking of people you don't want in control of you.
Hang on. Let me make sure I didn't miss any comments because this is really fun, like long. Love your posh British accent, Leah. Ha, ha, ha.
I hope.
So, BritBoz's point is that it's actually easy to buy guns in the UK, both legally and illegally. Okay, so just because it is illegal there, Brit's saying, like, listen, they put these laws on I'm interpreting here for you. They put these laws into place, but all they've done is disarm the honest people that aren't going to go and illegally buy a weapon.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, so, all right, there you go.
All right, so talk about unelected bureaucrats who tell you what to do. Here I go, up again. I'm standing up and down. I love my new chair. Up and down. I can do up and down. George Soros' Stefan Battery Foundation has demanded that Brussels step up its war on Poland.
Hang on, wait a minute. What does this even mean? If you can speak English correctly, why not do it all the time? What are you trying to say, David? We're American. We speak American in America. Okay? What are you trying to say? Okay, carry on.
Every time I read something, when I do read written words.
Oh, Chicken Little and Chicken Lickin' is the same thing, by the way, says John Scotty Ward.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. That's funny. Chicken Little and Chicken Little. Now we know.
And now we know.
And now, today on The Resistance Chicks, you will learn something new.
You will learn lots of things new here.
All right.
We are always bringing you information.
Every time I read something that's British,
too.
I think to myself, why don't we talk like that? Why our vocabulary and the way we express ourselves is so limited. It's embarrassing.
It is. Yeah.
So George Soros' foundation is going after Poland, and Merkel is going after Hungary's borders. But at this. George Soros' Stefan Battery Foundation has demanded that Brussels step up its war on Poland, asserting that the EU's survival rests on, get this, the progressive battle to force globalism on the Central European nation. Now, I have to say something that is American news here because it's connected to George Soros. But listen, if you go through our news feed on Resistance Chicks, Patriot Gallery does the Q. Okay?
All the QAnon post, yeah.
I don't watch Q. I don't read Q posts. I used to, and just kind of keep up with it, but I haven't in a while. But
so hang on, Patriot Gallery is an arm of Resistance Chicks. We don't have to. If there's anything pertinent, she will bring it to us.
But, and she didn't tell me this. It just posted, and I saw some comments on it. I saw this video where, let me see if I can find it. This is kind of, I don't know if this goes together, but it's important to me, so here we go.
Oh, jeez.
It does. What?
Oh, these. Okay, so Donna Terry says, my DNA goes all the way back to France on one side of my family. Mike Whitney says, my DNA goes all the way back to Adam. Adeline says, my DNA goes all the way back to God, so there. Sticks out my tongue at you. Oops, and runs from Donna.
So...
You guys crack me up. I'm sorry. I just love this chat. You people are awesome. You're hilarious.
Okay. This is absolutely insane. Now, somebody broke it down.
Break it down.
As negative, but this is Justice Democrats.
Here we go again. Wait.
Go ahead. Wait, no, it's not ready.
You have to do the thing
Before AOC was AOC, she was recruited.
What?
Now, I looked it up, and the Justice Democrats, why is this important? I believe it's so
yeah, sure. Okay. There we go. I like it.
Because they're same progressive agenda. I'm tying the two ponds together. I'm building a bridge across the pond.
Because you're going to need that once AOC takes all the planes away. I'm sorry, I couldn't help
So these, in America, guys, we had an election. And suddenly, these progressives all kind of ran.
Mm-hmm. I'm fixing the Bluetooth, but now it doesn't want me to.
Okay, we'll fix it. These progressives all ran and they won, and a lot of progressives unseated. I think it was 21 unseated sitting Democrats.
Wow.
Okay, with a progressive agenda. The same progressive agenda is already in the dirt in the EU,
like planted, rooted. That's what you meant to say.
But they're trying to get the same, and it's a communist agenda.
Because you can be dead and buried in the dirt.
Right. It's already
rooted.
Planted. Now these Justice Democrats. The same progressive agenda. George Soros is a billionaire. This is what he does. This Justice Democrats is an American Progressive Political Action Committee founded in 2017 by the Secular Talk and the Young Turks.
Surprise!
And the former leadership from the 2016 Bernie Sanders presidential campaign. I don't know who, and then I guess this the Young Turk guy resigned, but I don't know where they're getting their funding. But you'll see, as of there were 79 candidates officially endorsed by the Justice Democrats.
Why do they have to be called the Justice Democrats? Like the injustice?
Just communists. So you can see the primary results and then the general result.
Wow.
And then you can see the guy in Arizona won.
Hang on. Are you saying that these are all people on the left-hand column here that are progressives that tried to run?
These are people who were here's are people who were recruited.
Now fix your Bluetooth for you to play that.
There were people who were recruited to run.
That's what I'm
saying. And they were funded.
So what I'm saying is there were, what you said, 21 that won, and how many that ran? Because
like
the
97.
amount that's a crazy amount that ran.
But where are they funded? Who's funding them?
Right. George Soros.
Okay, I know this is American news.
No, it's world news because it's pertinent.
Okay, listen to this.
Back in 2016, we put out a call for nominations, trying to capture the diversity of background, of experience of the American electorate, the people that aren't currently represented in office. We got over 10,000 nominations. Out of those 10,000 nominations, we found Alexandria.
How did she run?
Hang on, pause that right there because there are people that just listen to our show and I want to go back. I want them to see that subtitle there. In 2016, the founders of Justice Democrats put out a nationwide call asking Americans to nominate community leaders to run for Congress.
But how did they fund 100 campaigns?
Right. One of those nominations came from Gabriel Ocasio-Cortez.
My brother told me that he had sent my nomination in the summer, but I was like literally working out of a restaurant, and I was like, there's no way.
Her profile is not what you'd think of as someone who should run for office, right?
I grew up with a really politically engaged and attuned family. We always were debating politics, talking about things, but we were never involved in the formal structures of politics.
We saw these signs of someone who's willing to sacrifice their own future for the good of others.
I remember some of the moments that I felt really dejected about politics, the extension of the Bush tax. 2016 represented a re-engagement.
What do you do when someone like Trump wins?
And my experience at Standing Rock was so spiritually, literally.
She says literally a lot.
I knew that I had to do something.
Yeah, we would call people up and kind of walk them through the platform.
We would try to call up folks that were like
we would call people up and try to walk them through their platform.
Right.
They're running. These are people that they have run to perform an agenda, not to represent their districts.
Exactly.
Not to represent the American people.
Right.
Which is why Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez just kicked Amazon out of 25,000 jobs in New York, and her constituents are upset.
Yeah.
She's not
representing her people.
Doing all kinds of amazing stuff, right? Every conversation would have a very awkward pitch at the end because
Yeah,
like
it's
talk to
always
them
like-
about like,
yeah.
oh, it's so great, you're like saving lives, you're fixing stuff in your community, and so do you want to run for Congress, maybe?
She was like, well, would you be open entering this kind of nomination process? And I was like, sure, because that's not a, will you run for Congress?
We felt the passion in her voice.
Do you know how hard it is to run for office? You have to have... See, here's the thing. Smart people, you have to be pretty smart to run for office because there are so many hoops you have to jump through to actually get a nomination.
Right.
There are forms you have to fill out. She wasn't smart enough to do it.
No
That's
way.
why, like, Ilhar Omar is one of their people. That Tashib, she's one of their people.
Right.
There's a long list. All these new activists, all these new Green New Dealers,
Right.
I would spoil one of my punchlines, is the Green New Deal is their deal.
Wow.
They got AOC to be their voice.
Mouthpiece.
It's not her deal.
And here's the deal. What you're saying is absolutely not a surprise. We've been saying it all along, but now we have the name to go with who is backing her, but we don't have the financing.
This is why, literally, she's
funding it?
She's literally an actress, literally.
Yeah.
Okay? So she came on the thing, and they're like, don't worry about it. We're going to make sure that you have funding. That's the biggest thing you're going to run for office. We're going to make sure that all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. We're going to walk you through the entire process.
Yeah.
But we love where your mind is. We want you to make sure that you're going to be part of our movement.
I can see this
you're
conversation,
gonna be
though.
our voice.
I love this, though. I love this conversation because I can see Alexandria Ocasio, like, maybe she'd be like, at the near, like, once it starts to hit really hit home, I can see her sitting there going, well, but sometimes I make mistakes and I don't know exactly what I'm talking about. So that could be kind of embarrassing. Don't worry. We own the MSM. And so we will make sure that they spin it so that you look smart every time, sister.
Exactly.
She
Well,
really
guess what?
wanted to
She's
fight
too dumb. Even the MSM can't spin the things that she says.
Right.
for the big thing, and she got
She wanted to fight for the big thing.
Right.
And you know what? To me, that is code word communism.
Yeah.
So then they got a bunch of video calls together with all these different candidates that they were going to run.
bunch of video calls to meet some of the other candidates that at the time were thinking about running.
There were so many other amazing candidates. The entire time I didn't think I was going to be picked. In my brain, I was like, this isn't going to happen, this isn't going to happen until...
She was picked. She was picked like American stinking Idol. She didn't run of her own accord. I'm not going to be picked. I'm like, they picked me, they're going to fund me, they're going to put me forward.
She wasn't even thinking about running for Congress. What does that make you, though? I mean, because in all honesty, if somebody came to us and said, we would like to fund you, we want to put you forward, we want you to run for some sort of office, I would be like, whoa, what's your agenda? Because I'm now going to be tied to you like a dog on a leash.
Yeah.
Izzy called and she was like, hey, do you want to go to Kentucky in 2 weeks? And I was like, oh.
We invited people to an in-person summit in Kentucky when we started getting serious about who we were going to run.
Who we were going to run.
Wow.
Kentucky was, I mean, I found at least.
She was ahead, guys.
That was spiritual.
This is some sort of weird Southern Democrat who's the head of this thing.
Slave
supposedly.
owner.
It was.
What happened was just magic. All these people from all over the country, incredible community leaders, talking about similar problems they all face, talking to each other, engaging, pumping each other up, pumping us up, you know.
That was like a super pivotal moment. I felt like I just remember the first day we've created this network of people that put movement first.
Feeling like
a network of people that put the progressive movement first. Above your constituents, above America, above anything else.
Yeah.
Like it was a movement and that it wasn't about me was the most convincing aspect. Being like, oh yeah, I'll do this because it's a bunch of crazy people.
Hang on, though, pause right there. So our friend Kate here on Facebook says, what do you do when Trump wins? the country spoke. And that's the thing. The girl a little bit ago said, well, what do you do when someone like Trump wins? Well, guess what? The country spoke. Just like Kate said, you deal with it. You live with it.
She literally said...
You don't get some sort of globalist funded agenda.
She literally said, I'll do this. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'll do this because it's a bunch of crazy people. And this will be fun.
Yeah. Because all of you got into this like movement first, that's defined, I mean, your actions since you got elected, right? And everyone else is like, man, this is weird. Why are you doing all this weird stuff? Well, it's because it's a different, you didn't come in.
It's a different start.
Yeah. There's so much reaction to the divergence that our actions represent in DC, but really they've been consistent the entire.
That is, you know, we got to start running.
I think we at Justice Democrats have a chance to really transform the Democratic Party. Running in competitive primary elections in Democratic held seats is important.
One of the things that gets told
in Democratic held seats, because they can't beat a Republican.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
In order to like settle us down is, I agree with you. We have the same feel comfortable and
as Kate points out, these are just ignorant kids who haven't lived enough life to know their head from their ears.
American people.
The only
They're children.
So here is the pitch.
To give it all we got.
We now have proof. Running on a bold vision, running a grassroots campaign, being a part of a larger movement that is bigger than your own personal ambitions can and will succeed.
The House of Representatives is supposed to be the people's house. It's 435 people that are there to represent the needs and the will of the American people.
The only way that we're ever going to be able to change the structures of power in our highest levels of government is if we can get people like you that are closest to the community into the halls of power to talk about these big ideas. A Green New Deal, expanded and improved Medicare for all, ending poverty.
If you feel like, hey, why me? You know, I don't have the...
A Green New Deal. I just wanted you guys to see that.
Wow.
So when you see this, George Soros' foundation says, asserting that the EU survival rests on the progressive battle to force globalism on the Central European nation, what you see is that this is not about grassroots. It's about globalism, and globalism has nothing to do with grassroots. It has nothing to do with the people, because they ran to say to the people, we're going to take care of you, but then they pushed them all to the side and said, I don't care about you. I don't care that Amazon will come in and revitalize this area.
We're not here to represent you. We're here to pull somebody from the midst of you and then have them complete our agenda, not what you want them to do. And that's the difference. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez hasn't gone as a person of like, okay, I am with this, you know, these thousands and thousands of people. We all think the same. We're underheard, yada, 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 and then I'm coming and representing them. No, she literally was just picked, and she's thinking to herself, if I don't toe the line, if I don't say the things that they say, that they want me to say, you know what I mean? I think what's going to happen, though, when some of these people start to go rogue, when they've already been held in their seat and they have, you know, infighting that does happen, and then one of them is going to squeal.
That's true. Okay, so there's a paper by the NGO, the non-governmental organization founded by the Open Borders backing billionaire in 1988 with the goal of turning the then communist Poland into an open society. Praised the European Commission for taking action against Polish efforts to reform what the government argues is a corrupt judicial system lacking accountability. And what our Poland friends have told us is that the judges in there were appointed by communists, and they're communists, and so they're trying to, you know, get a hold of that. And despite EU undermining the national sovereignty, fueling widespread growing anger at the bloc in Poland, lawyers at the foundation called on Brussels to step up its attacks on the Central European nation, alleging that the fight for supposed judicial independence was vital for protecting human rights through the Union. The battle for the rule of law in Poland is effectively a battle for survival of the European Union, proclaims the Soros-backed NGO, which has spent recent years working on projects to prepare... Get this, this is crazy. This NGO has spent years working on projects to prepare the Polish society for refugees, to form positive attitudes towards mass third world migration, and training. They've already trained tens of thousands of professionals and officials in various roles to fight, quote, prejudice, as well as hateful online comments.
Wow.
Poland's conservative law and justice has repeatedly spoken out against EU moves to encroach on member state sovereignty since the party was first in the post-communist era to gain enough seats to rule without a coalition when it swept to power in the 2015 elections with the promise of reversing the Europhile globalist previous government's vow to resettle huge numbers of migrants in the country. I don't know how to say this Polish foreign minister's name, and his Hungarian counterpart told a press conference in Budapest this week that the two countries would continue to defend a Christian pro-sovereignty Europe in the face of attempts by Brussels to an establishment to force the migration.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
crazy
crazy
talk.
Yeah. So, Merkel says Hungary and Poland must surrender control over borders to the EU. Basically saying, Merkel came out and said, and the EU is saying, that any of the outlying countries must surrender their borders to the European Union, meaning Hungary's on that edge there, and Hungary would have to take down its fence and let in a swath of migrants. And they're trying to prepare all these people to go in and to just like, run all the refugee camps and areas and all the stuff in Poland and Hungary.
So I want to explain something to you guys, because I want us to have a well-rounded show, and I want you to understand what is going on from all different angles, because it's really great sounding, okay, to say, listen, why don't we just have a Pole exit or a Hungary exit or something like that? Mm-hmm. Why can't they just stand up the way that the UK has and just leave? Okay.
Right.
In my heart of hearts, I believe that is what they want to do. I think that's the goal that they are set toward.
Right.
But what is not being talked about is let's just imagine for 1 second that your country is your home. Okay.
Right.
And somebody else owns the mortgage on it.
Oh, yeah.
And if you betray them, then they will call in that loan, and then they're going to own you anyway.
Right.
Okay? So it's a very scary thing. A lot of things have to come into play because of what happened.
But they're making you take in strangers into your house.
Exactly. But that wasn't part of the mortgage. It might even come to almost an act of war or something.
Yeah.
Something has to happen. Something has to give, and something has to break, because the Poland and Hungary don't have any leverage like the UK does on the European Union. And so in 1913, with the inception of the Federal Reserve and the creation of central banks all over the world, we created something that has become a monster for people, and that is the credit age. Last night in the CPAC speech that Donald Trump gave, he talked about something that happened in 1913. The United States started or got rid of tariffs. Why did they get rid of tariffs in 1913? Because it was the creation of the Federal Reserve and the income tax. What has happened since then is we now live in this digital currency age, and it started back then, but it's just now turned digital. Of living on credit, of living beyond your means. It doesn't matter how much money you need, you just borrow it, and you will pretend to pay it back.
Right.
And so it's kind of like a kid in college that starts getting all of these envelopes in the mail that say, you can get a credit card, here's $3,000, here's $4,000, here's $5,000. And they get into all of this debt, and they're told, and the same thing goes with college loans, they're told, don't worry about it, because someday you will pay it back, you'll have a job to pay it back. All the while, they own you. And so that's why these people push the Federal Reserve. That's why they push the credit system. That's why they push getting into debt. These countries are actually not sovereign. They want to say that they're sovereign. Poland wants to say that they're sovereign. Hungary wants to say that they're sovereign. And before God, they are sovereign. Before the rest of the world, they are sovereign. But financially speaking, they have sold themselves like slaves to the rest of the world, including the European Union. So it's what I'm saying is, it's not as easy as maybe people watching this saying, why don't they just leave? Well, it wouldn't be, it's more complicated.
Poland was crippled by communism.
Right.
And Hungary and Poland, as the Eastern European countries, devastated, not held up during after World War II. Or I know for me going through that history with some of our Polish viewers, understanding that the United States kind of left them high and dry to be the slaves and the vassals of communist Russia, and why they still have anger and vehemence toward communist Russia. I totally understand. I totally get that. But Russia's kind of not communist anymore, and to the same degree. So, but they still have the pain and the memories, and it was just still very much alive in them.
Yeah.
To them. And so with Poland and Hungary being devastated, they have nowhere to go. They don't have an economy of their own to really. The EU, they entered the EU, and they were put on the payroll basically, and now to come out from under that would be so devastating. I mean, they're probably just afraid of being overrun again.
Exactly.
While they're in the EU, at least they're not going to be overrun by, Russia.
Right. So I don't want it to be like a big Debbie Downer at all. I believe that God is raising up Poland and God is raising up Hungary, and what I believe is going to happen is including the Czech Republic, there's going to be a coalition that is formed, and once the UK finally exits. Okay, I have hope that because they will be a bastion, an example of what has happened, how it can be done, then it will encourage these people to form, like the Czech Republic and Poland and Hungary should already be a coalition. They are, I think that between the three of them, they could produce a strength that would be strong enough for them to exit the European Union and figure out,
with
some things.
With Italy being a Europhile
and them too, exactly,
and Austrian government.
You mean a Eurosceptic?
Yeah, and I said that.
You said Europhile.
Eurosceptic, yeah. Okay, so now I want to move on to Tommy Robinson here because I believe it was Monday. Tommy was taken off of Facebook.
It was like within 24 hours almost of his
Instagram
of the Panodrama demonstration that he did outside of the BBC Northern headquarters.
Right.
And it's absolute insanity. 24 hours, and everybody's just and then Facebook's reason behind this said that Tommy Robinson had repeatedly violated their community guidelines in calling for violence, against Muslims.
Right.
Tommy never calls for, and if you think for 1 second that it is just coincidental that Facebook decides to kick Tommy off of Facebook within 24 hours of the BBC expose Panodrama that Tommy did, your head is in the sand.
He's live now. Let's
with
see
the
what he's
media,
got to say.
and this time with a jihadi lawyer, has gave documentation with what he claims is my address to a far left group to deliver to me, even though they know I'm in Finland, so they know I'm not in the country. So they take that opportunity. They take that opportunity for no other reason other than intimidation to an address that they believe, that they say is where I live. Now, in that address, and then they say, I phoned the police. I knew nothing until I've just stepped off this plane. Now, in that address that you've gone to today, 5 men have approached today, was an innocent family, were children. Now, I'm not... Lawyers are bound by rules and regulations of how they have to behave. Here's a jihadi lawyer. In the last 6 months alone, I've received multiple Osman warnings by the police, by counter-terrorism, specifically naming far-left violent groups as wishing to cause me and my family direct physical harm.
Why aren't they arrested?
Exactly.
Put in jail?
Naming these groups.
Because if Tommy...
And today, the media,
threatened somebody with violence,
jihadi lawyers, and those same far-left groups cooperating together have gone to a house that they know I'm not in. It's not my house. But they've gone to a house where they believe, where they are sure that my children are in. It's not like I'm difficult to find. I meet anyone, anywhere. This has intentionally been done today. Intentionally been done to intimidate and cause fear to an innocent family. Successfully, actually. Successfully, that's what you've done. And I see all the usual left, Mike Stutchbury, all the usual people celebrating this. Celebrating the fact that a group of men, they haven't come looking for me. They can't say they've come looking for me. You know I'm not in the country. You knew I wasn't in the country. But the most alarming thing about this is all working together, colluding together again. Far left, media. Apparently The Guardian, the Daily Mail and ITV News were present.
They all knew.
They were present and participating in the intimidation of a family with young children in a home. Well done. This at the same time, how many of you would have read, and this at the same time, as many of you would have read, Tom Watson, the Labour Party, saying, I have to be removed from YouTube. This is a time when people need to actually choose whether we're going to have free speech or not, which we don't anyway. I know we don't, but Tom Watson from YouTube saying, I need to be removed from YouTube. Tom, you need to concentrate more on the anti-Semitism within your own party. But I have, just so people are aware, my YouTube account has 0 community strikes. You're allowed 3. 0. I have no copyright strikes. So, every one of my videos that's been checked, I've done nothing or said nothing wrong, just like on Facebook, just like on all the other social medias. But the political parties now want to put pressure on those individual companies, which is what they're doing. It's pure fascism, to remove any deterrent voices. So, I'm still gobsmacked that a lawyer, they are all fully aware of the serious direct threat that is posed against my family, would today dox an address with the support and work of far left extremist organisations, with the media, to dox an address, to put in danger an innocent family.
Could you do
I'm
that
literally
to a
just
Muslim?
landed. So
What if you went to intimidate?
I'll be seeking my own legal takings on how that can happen, and see how other people like it, eh? This is an ongoing, colluded attempt that's only getting worse now, which is clear for everyone to see. The far left, funded far left, working alongside government bodies, lawyers, media, all of them conspiring together in order to cause one man. There's one man. You're all struggling to deal with one man.
That is the funny part.
And he ain't going nowhere.
That is the funny part. Yeah. All right, Tommy.
That is the funny part.
He
Tommy.
literally just signed off. So wherever he's at an airport in Finland right now, he just streamed that live.
So this is what he's talking about.
Wow.
Tommy Robinson, Titty Hobbins tweets this out because for purposes of clarity, Tommy Robinson has never, ever been charged with hate speech in the UK. And that is actually a pretty low bar.
Yeah.
Because, like, a lot of people have been charged with hate speech, right? This Tom Watson is a British MP. And he says, I have written Google calling on him as a matter of urgency to remove the YouTube page of Tommy Robinson.
Wow.
And he says for hate speech and blah, 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 blah. But Majid says this, and I appreciate this. He says, he rails against social media firms for the handling of harmful content on their sites. I have run out of patience with tech platforms that neglect terrorist, fanatical, and pedophilic content online while chasing irrelevant, offensive opinions or deplatforming legal persons non grata merely to virtue signal for the elite liberal East and West Coast echo chamber. So he tried to get Tommy out. He's not happy with Tommy. He thinks that Tommy, but you can, as a free speech person, say, I don't like that Tommy does this, 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 and this, this. But he has a right to say this, 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 and this. So I have goosebumps. Majid, for saying this.
Absolutely.
That Tommy has not committed this kind of crime that would deplatform him from social media.
And if Tommy wasn't reaching the numbers that he was reaching, they would never touch him. They wouldn't have an issue with him. Somebody had put out a meme, I think, on the Montanans for Vaccine on Facebook. And it says, listen, when they cut out your tongue, I want to make sure that I get this right. They said when they cut out your tongue, it's not because of, I'm totally going to butcher this. It's not because they oh shoot. Let me just go find it.
Chief digital strategist for Leave Means Leave says, I'm not a Tommy Robinson fan in the slightest. If he has incited violence, he should be tried and prosecuted.
Exactly.
But the left's agenda of censorship and banning people from speaking is very worrisome. First it's Tommy Robinson, then they will continue, and everyone is fair game. This guy says, Media Guido. If, as Tom Watson claims, Tommy Robinson has advocated violence, he should be arrested again.
Right.
If he has incited racial hatred, he can be charged under the law. If he has just been obnoxious and disagreeable, he is exercising his civil and political rights.
Yeah.
Do you know how many obnoxious, horrible people are on YouTube?
Yeah.
With crazy, awful, horrible opinions.
Yeah.
And nasty things.
So, okay, here's the quote. When you tear out a man's tongue, you're not proving him a liar. You're only telling the world that you fear what he might say. And that, when I read that this morning, I was thinking about Tommy. I was thinking about us. I was thinking about everybody that has been censored. Now, if you guys missed my little clip that I did about Trump at CPAC, which I could cover it at nauseum, but I only did less than 20 minutes. He has, he's going to sign an executive order. At the very least, this is a step in the right direction. It shows that he is acknowledging what is happening. An executive order where campuses, colleges will not get federal funding for their little research projects, which are thousands and thousands, millions of dollars, okay, if they do not support, and I think that means actively support and promote free speech. And that's huge. And he did say online in his very Trump, online, the way he moves it, online.
I like this is Gab. Gab says, hey, Tommy Robinson's on Gab and Dissenter. Can you send us a letter? I'm running a little low on toilet paper. so you want us to kick him off our site too, don't you?
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Oh my gosh.
Ezra says, Tommy Robinson is never in charge, let alone convicted of hate crimes or incitement. His online comments are controversial but lawful. That the world's leftist authoritarians are outsourcing their censorship to big tech shows they are known as political censors. So what AOC and the Green New Deal and all those people say is very hateful to people saying, you just want us to die in 10 years. You just want us to die in 12 years.
Right.
Same thing with Angela Merkel. The hate that they spread should put them in jail for at least 100 years.
Yeah.
Macron, the hate that he spread should at least put him in jail for 100 years.
Yeah.
You know, and they have voices.
Here's the thing. We were talking about this on a dog walk, and I want to bring this up another time when it's actually one of the topics, but this is a really good example of when you talk about the hate that they are spreading. It's okay for them to have hatred towards anybody that doesn't agree with what they say, and then they call you hateful. Example, okay? Lee and I were talking about how, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. This is going to blow your mind. Maybe you've never thought this before, okay? But if you are repulsed.
This is Tommy. I could kill you. And then he punches him. That's when you have a right to punch
exactly.
somebody, by the way.
If you're repulsed by homosexual behavior, the left will then tell you that you are hateful and you need to rethink and you need to change that opinion. You have to literally transform that within yourself. Now, a lot of times people kind of consider and go, well, maybe it is hateful. Maybe there is something wrong with me that I find that behavior repulsive. Like maybe I am just weird. Hang on a second. Heterosexual behavior continues the human race. It is encoded in our DNA. We are born this way, to be repulsed by homosexual behavior, because that's how we're born. Because if you're not repulsed by it, if you accept it, if you love it, if you think that it's awesome, then the human race will die off. So they hate us. They have hatred of us because of something that is written and literally encoded in our DNA to want to survive as a human race. I'm born this way, baby. I'm born this way. Now, we love homosexuals here on Resistance Chicks. We will accept you. We want you as part of our Resistance Chicks family, but I don't have to hide and I don't have to lie about the fact that it is unnatural, that God does not condone it, and God didn't create us that way. But God did create me to be, they have done studies where guys will say, I would rather look at a bucket of maggots than see two guys kiss. And then that's considered hateful. They need to change that. They need to rewrite their DNA code the way that they were born to their natural reaction to something that stops the human race. And somehow it's okay for them to hate on us when we're not even being hateful. We're just saying, listen, this isn't right. This isn't natural. And that covers a broad span. That was just one example of how they actually do hate us. But it's okay for them to be hateful. It's okay for them to tell us that we have to change our ways. While they call us hateful, when we're not really hateful, we're just like, hey, that's wrong.
Like vegans say eating meat's wrong.
Exactly. So we have Nigel that was at CPAC yesterday.
Yeah, let's play a little bit of this. If we can get our thing up and running again. Show Bluetooth devices.
I love that Nigel comes to CPAC, by the way.
Hello, CPAC! Are we having a good time? Are we winning? Well, you know, we're 2.5 years on, aren't we, from those amazing, dramatic events that we saw of 2016. The Brexit referendum, when nobody thought it was possible, where you, of course, sent us President Obama to tell us we shouldn't vote for it, and we did it.
American collusion.
And then, of course, on November the 8th, 2016, despite the fact, I mean, someone coined that phrase, and he's good at this kind of thing, isn't he?
Yeah.
And despite everything, Trump won. So we were at CPAC that year, and I always thank Matt and the team for inviting me. Goodness knows why they keep having me back, but I love it.
Because you're awesome.
We were in a state of euphoria. But if you think about it, 2.5 years on, the one common theme on both sides of the pond is that the establishment, the big businesses behind it, simply refuse to accept the result. They don't accept the legitimacy of Trump. They don't accept the legitimacy of the Brexit referendum. And the campaign against your president, I have to say, at times, I think the whole thing is pretty disgusting. There can never have been. There can never have been a president who has been subject to more abuse and vitriol than Donald Trump. And I thought this week it sunk to the depths because we saw a convicted liar.
He's talking about the Cohen hearings.
Yeah, I'm going to go to end here because he has some...
Oh, he ends really well.
So that they are to stifle debate. And we need our legislators. We need them to redefine organizations like Facebook as publishers so that they are responsible for the content that they put out. And a final thought from me. If you think back to why Brexit happened, to why Trump happened, to why the extraordinary new Italian coalition has been put together.
Arrivederci.
And they're doing well. They're doing really, really well. But if you think back to it, there was one policy above all that stirred the hearts of people. One policy above all that made people go to the ballot box and take part in those elections. And that one policy is no longer being talked about. Indeed, that one policy, there are some who masquerade as conservative donors, but who run big businesses, would rather we didn't talk about. Let us remind ourselves that open borders, security, community, and immigration, that is why we won those great battles in 2016. Let us not be browbeaten
like how
Let
it
us
says
not
we,
be
like we're a
influenced by
team.
money. Let us not be browbeaten by the media or anybody else. It is right and proper that a nation state controls its borders. It is right and proper that we do that.
Hey, Nige, come back. But I mean, seriously, like the way that he says we kind of feel that way about you guys with Brexit.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
it's our Brexit, even though we don't live there. Centaur says we are a team, Michelle. And of course, now your internet would decide to poop out.
I know.
Doing it.
There it
Do you know,
goes.
7 years ago
You gotta
today,
fast forward now.
let us not be browbeaten.
There we go.
State controls its borders. It is right and proper that we do that. It is right and proper that we try to make our communities as safe as we can in an age of international terrorism. It is right and proper that we are unashamedly proud and patriotic of our countries, our nations, our identity.
Right.
It is right and proper that we do those things. And above all, it is right and proper that as we go about our business, as we ready ourselves for the next big campaigns that we know will happen here in America, and will, if all things go wrong, happen once again in the United Kingdom, to remember that we are the real people. We are here not because we want careers. We're here because of our passion. We're here because of our belief. We're here because we care about our communities, about our countries, and about their role in the world. So the best piece of advice I can give all of you is when we go out there and fight, smile. Let's
I love this
be
part.
happy
Warriors!
Thank you very much.
Let's be
Thank you.
happy warriors.
Thank you.
Okay, so Britt Baza, I don't think there's an article here, but I want to make sure that I'm not playing anything in the background because there's always videos here. I'm going to flip over. Britt wanted us to go over this. I haven't read it yet, but it's about Stacey Dooley, and he says in the comments section. There you yawned again.
Sorry.
So rude. It's not really rude to yawn. You can't really help it.
have a
Michelle,
thing.
can you cover Janaea and David Lammy, Stacey Dooley's story I sent you, as it shows the double standards of Tommy and sitting MPs with racisms and hate crimes as well. So let's flip over here and see what. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's our actual live show. Wait a minute. Let me flip this over. There we go. Come on now. Let's see.
Is it a video?
The Labour MP David Lammy has denied snubbing Comic Relief after he became embroiled in a dispute with the television journalist and Strictly Come Dancing winner Stacey Dooley. Lammy had accused Dooley of perpetuating tired and unhelpful stereotypes about Africa after she traveled to Uganda for an upcoming Comic Relief documentary. The MP for Tottenham criticized her on Twitter after she shared pictures on social media of her trip, including one of her posing with a young child. Dooley responded by inviting Lammy to travel to the continent himself, while Comic Relief suggested the MP had snubbed an offer to collaborate with the charity on a film in Africa. Lammy said it was simply not true that he had not responded to the offer, adding he had held 2 meetings with the organization. Lammy claimed Comic Relief had fallen short of what he called its public duty to promote racial equality and serve minority communities. Comic Relief on Thursday made no apologies, saying the offer of a collaborative film was still open. It thanked Dooley for helping people working with or supported by Comic Relief projects tell their own stories in their own words. Lammy initially had responded to the pictures posted on Instagram by Dooley by tweeting, "The world does not need any more white saviors. As I've said before, this just perpetuates tired and unhelpful stereotypes. Let's instead promote voices from across the continent of Africa and have a serious debate." Lammy said his issue was not personal with Dooley, and he did not question her good motives. However, he said he had a problem with British celebrities being flown out to Africa for Red Nose Day to make films that send a distorted image of the continent and perpetuate an old idea from the colonial era. Lammy, who is the Guyanese descent of Guyanese descent, said many Black Britons are deeply uncomfortable with Comic Relief's poverty porn is what he called it. Dooley, who has made documentaries for BBC on topics including fast fashion and in Islamic sex state slave, responded by suggesting the politician should raise awareness of poverty himself. She tweeted, David has an issue with me being white. Genuine question, because if that's the case, you could always go over there and try to raise awareness. Comic Relief has raised over £1 billion since they started. I saw projects that were saving lives with money, kids' lives. Lammy said he, quote, was not prepared to become part of a PR exercise. On Twitter, he wrote, it's simply not true to say I did not respond. We had 2 meetings in my office. I had hoped and still hope your coverage would improve, but Stacey's post was more of the same tired, sick, tropes. As I told you before, I'm not prepared to become part of a PR exercise. It's not about me making a nice film, but about you giving some of your very privileged platform on the BBC to the hundreds of African comedians, filmmakers, celebrities, and everyday people who live on the continent.
Okay, so basically she got lambasted for being a white savior. Disappointing that Stacey Dooley doesn't understand why many black people would feel uncomfortable and irritated by her recent comic relief efforts and the complicated issues about the white savior routine, especially with this caption, this poor child is not an accessory. Another white savior, she's saying this person is not a white savior. So it kind of goes back and forth. I get it. And I guess
I don't get it. You want to know why? Because anybody that wants to go to Africa to try to do some help, it shouldn't. And that's the thing that really gets me. I get what Lammy is trying to say. Like, listen, why don't you let somebody else go? Okay, we don't know how it worked out. We don't support the BBC, and Stacey Dooley, frankly, I question some things about her. That being said, his statement was racist because here's the deal. I just don't understand this whole thing where you tout, we want to have equality, we want to have equality, we want to have equality. We don't want to judge people by the color of their skin, and yet then they come out and they say,
so, but I
judging
kind
by
of
the color
get
of your
it, though,
skin.
because like what happens is a lot of wealthy, rich, white people go to Africa.
Yeah.
And they do take pictures with these black kids.
Sure.
And they take pictures, and what you don't see is, as somebody pointed out, what about the Ugandan people on the ground?
Yeah.
Where is she? Is she taking pictures, and is she highlighting what other people are doing?
Right.
The people on the ground. Is she highlighting? Here's the thing. When somebody says it just looks like poverty porn, what's the are you highlighting the good, or are you just saying, look what we're doing?
Yeah.
She said, we raised $1 billion. Well, what have you done? What's happening to these people in Africa? You can throw money at something till you're blue in the face.
Right.
Right? Money means nothing. What have you done?
Well, but see, he wasn't saying that, though. And that's what got me from that article. We don't know exactly how he said it, but from what I'm understanding, he didn't come out and say, what are you actually doing? He literally said, she's white, she shouldn't be the one that goes.
Well, it just is.
I'm with you 100%. What I'm saying is that his argument doesn't.
Yeah. So what it is it's leftist hypocrisy. What I'm saying is like really to look at the situation,
go deeper,
and say, listen, Africans don't need a savior, and I am tired of white people going and taking white people pictures with a black baby in their hands.
Exactly.
You know, like look what I did today. I'm a white person. I'm actually holding a black person. Look how good I am.
Yeah.
I'm holding a black child. Look, they're poor and they're dirty, and I'm holding them.
So
I'm such a good person.
Centaur says Lenny Henry is co-founder of Comic Relief, and he's a black guy. So I mean, if he thought it was racist, then maybe he wouldn't have, been supporting Stacey Dooley going. I don't know. I mean, seriously. But see, I think I'm agreeing with Leah here. So Britt Basel wanted us to share it to talk about the hypocrisy of the left and racism and all that, and that's 100% right. But since we're talking about the issue, we might as well talk about the issue. And I agree with Leah. These people, they go over and they pretend to throw a bunch of money, they raise a bunch of money, they pocket a lot of it, then they get free vacations, and then they get to look like a savior. So I can kind of see that too. At the same time, I mean, Stacey Dooley has a job, she gets paid, so that in and of itself muddies the waters. A lot of people ask Leah and I all the time, Jay, our computer guy, is always wanting us to take, you need to promote taking donations. And I finally sent him a message today. I said, Jay, the donate button on our website is all Jay. Okay. He literally went in and made me make it bigger. He made it bigger. Okay. because when money gets involved in something, it changes you. It changes your motivations. Now, obviously, Leah and I and Patriot Galler would guard our heart 100% to not allow that to happen. But with Stacey Dooley, it's money. I mean, and notoriety and fame, and she wants to look good. And, you know, we literally want to change our country, and that's why we bring you this information. And so I don't ever want it to turn into, well, those resistance chicks. That's why you don't ever hear us at the end of the program, you know, support our podcast so that we can keep bringing that. No, we can keep bringing these messages all day long.
We're happy you listen to us.
We're happy for you to listen.
We'll pay you to watch.
I'll pay you to share these. I will pay you to try to go around, the, you know, just to let people. Listen, Leah and I are considered. What did our old teacher from church call us the other day? We can't remember whether she said special. You guys were always special.
No, it wasn't special. It wasn't
different. But it was supposed to be a compliment.
But different as in good.
Yeah, and so we laughed in the grocery store we ran into, and we thought it was really funny. Leah and I have always been considered different. Now, I got drug into this really because I was kind of like normal, but in an effort to be just like my big sister, then I had to become some sort of weirdo, outspoken freak. But we were posting on social media long before Resistance Chicks. And we would get people that didn't know us coming at us going, no, my gosh, it's so awesome what you guys are saying. We would have the people that do know us, crickets. And then every once in a while we'd run into them. They go, oh my gosh, your post, it changed my life. I'm now homeschooling, this, that, and the other. We're like, why didn't you comment on it? Oh, I can't. You know, we actually never asked them why they didn't comment. But we know why they can't comment.
You also had a lot of people that we know to, you know, argue on Facebook.
Oh yeah,
but this is way
funner. You guys support us.
This is way
you love
funner.
us. You compliment us. You listen to the things that we say. I'll do this for free all day long, baby.
I know. It's awesome.
I don't ever want to have to do anything like this for money. All right, so we're gonna sign off here.
Yep.
Speaking of jobs, we have one. We have to go walk some dogs. We're finishing promptly at 3. Again, happy birthday. I think earlier it was Mike that had a birthday, and obviously Tracy had a birthday. So happy birthday to you guys. Anybody else that is not commenting that you had a birthday.
If you need a song, watch Friday's video. It went on for a long time.
Oh my gosh, it was like a 25-minute song.
That's fun.
And there goes your phone.
There goes my phone.
All right, we love you guys. God loves you. God bless. Remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory. If it's the truth, like, comment, and subscribe to both of our channels, Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell for notifications. Find us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. We love you. God loves you. God bless. And I want to do a special thank you to all of the moderators who were here today. I love the Sunday show. Worth a look. Gary, Kelly PB fam. I know Sean and Tracy were here earlier. Britt Baza, Maia. I'm going to miss somebody going through all this stuff. I haven't called you guys out in a long time. Donna Terry.
March and
you're seriously sounding like AOC right now. The whole time I keep, if you see me looking out of my the corner of my eye, I am here. Let me show you. Let me because I can do this now because it's our show. Let's see if we can turn the camera around. Look, there's our nice studio. Okay, so that window right there, you're not gonna be able to see from here, but out that window there, I keep seeing snow. I can see a clear picture, but because of the lighting, you can't see the clear picture. So, all right. Don't you guys love this new studio? It's so awesome. There's my beautiful mother right there. Tracy made these, the birthday girl right there. Okay, guys, we'll be back later this week. Oh, I may, Lord willing, later today, do a reading of Charles Spurgeon sermon that I found that I think is so awesome. So, if I get time later today or this evening, if not, it'll probably be tomorrow because it's heavy on my heart. So you guys can stay tuned for that later today. Keep looking for that. So, all right. Gez says, great as always, ladies. Keep fighting the good fight. And I know I wasn't on Facebook looking at too many of the comments here, but Linda says, thank you for your show. Thank you guys for watching. Patricia always leaves awesome comments. Patricia says, how does one contribute to you, ladies? And thanks. You can always go to our website, resistancechicks.com. So, all right, here's our lovely Leah. You don't have any song for him? Do you? I don't know. I had one in my head earlier, but now I can't remember what it was.
I get them in my head, and then sometimes it's just blank.
I know.
Seek ye.
What a friend we have in Jesus. That's what it was.
Oh.
It's not. I know it's a difficult one.
We just don't ever sing it. You sing it.
No, you can sing it with me.
I don't like to sing. I don't like the way I sing this song.
So what do you got? Another song?
I like the way you sing.
What were you just singing?
Just something silly.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Ask and it shall be given unto you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
That's a good way to memorize some scriptures. Those are all
No,
scriptures.
that is. All right, that's a really good song. We haven't ever sung that song on the show.
I like the way you sing "What a Friend We Have in Jesus."
No,
There's a special voice to that, and I like. You should sing it for them.
Nope.
What?
It's not that great of a song. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. What I mean is, it is a song that it's better to sing than to listen to. I mean, it's just like Amazing Grace produces an emotion. Even that song produces an emotion. What a Friend We Have in Jesus produces an emotion because of the lyrics. To me, not so much of the tune.
We have a light that keeps flashing. It's really
I know. What a friend we have in Jesus. That's way too low. I'm not gonna be able to hit it.
Try again. Try again.
I don't know. I don't even know the lyrics. They're probably not even that many.
For
That's
me,
it.
it's like really like I always sing it off.
What a friend we have in Jesus.
There you go.
All our sins and griefs to bear.
Sing it, girl.
What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. Oh, because we do not carry everything to God in prayer.
So I told you. This is beautiful.
We could have sang it together.
I don't like the way I sing. So every time I go sing it, I think to myself, this doesn't sound right. And you sang just fine.
Well, but the lyrics were so powerful to me. And the reason why it was on my heart, because it was in my hymn calendar today.
Yeah.
And the part where it says, oh, what peace we often forfeit. Yep. And oh, what needless griefs we bear. Wow. All because we don't carry everything to God in prayer.
It's beautiful.
It's powerful, powerful song.
Beautiful.
So that's why it was in my
in my head today. I'm glad you sang it.
All right, you guys. We love you. God loves you. God bless. And we will see you back later this week. And I do want to do a thank you to everybody that donated, made this studio possible. So it is really, really, really awesome.
It's fun down
All right,
here.
we love you guys.
I was cold all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid. But you called my name. Turned my eyes to the lies.
I'm muted. I'm having some technical difficulties here. Hi, guys. You're still here because I haven't signed off because I want to know why that didn't play right. How very strange. I guess I'll have to shut down the system. Maybe it'll do better next time. I heard the music go. I don't know. All right. Love you guys. I'm literally just going to sign it off without the ending because It's not there. Bye, guys.